Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kat Moonchild. I am a psychic, I am a medium, and I am also a Reiki master. So don't forget to hit like and subscribe, hit the bell notification for future videos. Today what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about Reiki. Reiki is an energy healing method. I do actually want to make a video about energy healing and what that is and what it does at another time, but for now what I wanted to do was actually talk about Reiki the most because I really enjoy Reiki. Reiki is probably my favorite thing to do. I have been certified in Reiki Usui Ryoho, spelling found here, level 1, and Reiki Usui Seishun, spelling found here, level 1, level 2, and level 3. So I have been certified level 1 twice in the traditional method and in this alternative method, and I greatly prefer the alternative method, but that's just kind of my more cup of tea. There's a lot of different kinds of Reiki you'll find out there. There's Reiki Holy Fire, Reiki Jidao, there's Reiki Kuruna, Huna. There's so many different kinds. I'll actually list several in the description box below. So you can actually read on the different kinds of Reiki styles that there are. Each teacher offers a different method, offers different teaching styles, offers different requirements per course. But the closest to the original traditional Reiki would probably be Reiki Usui Ryoho. Now, Reiki was actually said, first of all, to have been rediscovered by Dr. Mikao Usui in the late 1800s. It was purported that he was challenged by theology students as to the legitimacy of the healing miracles of Jesus Christ. Now, before I continue, Reiki is fairly non-denominational. Reiki can be performed by people of many different paths and many different faiths, but it's got a very, very large tie to Buddhism, and that's something to also be very, very well aware of. Reiki was founded in Japan by Dr. Mikao Usui. Like I said, what had happened was when he was challenged by theology students, it's said that that kind of planted the seed for his journey or for his quest to discover those healing methods or those healing modalities. And I'm going to really nutshell the history of Reiki here, because if you're interested in pursuing it, this is all stuff you're going to learn anyway. So over the years, Dr. Mikao Usui traveled from Japan to America, didn't find what he was looking for in the Western Hemisphere, and traveled back to Japan to study Sanskrit symbols and to study Buddhist symbols as well. And he went through scroll after scroll after scroll for years, studying these different ancient texts, looking for a connection to energy healing. It is said that he intuitively discovered many different symbols that he intuitively felt had a connection to energy healing, but he wasn't sure what they were meant for or how they were to be utilized. So he went up to Mount Koriyama in Japan, fasted and meditated for 21 days, and it's said that he there became attuned by the universe and rediscovered Reiki. Now, the reason why they use the word rediscovered is because this energy is supposed to have been there the entire time, but he just found it again, is what it is translated as. Now, most of the accounts of how Dr. Mikao Usui came into finding this energy healing method is given by a woman named Mrs. Hawao Takata, which was one of her students. So in Reiki, what they'll talk about is they'll talk about something called a lineage, which is teacher to teacher to teacher to teacher to teacher to teacher. And many different people have lineages, obviously, that go all the way back to Mrs. Takata or Dr. Mikao Usui or any of the original students that are out there, which connect to Dr. Mikao Usui. And that's how a lot of people will connect to the legitimacy of your practice. The reason why legitimacy in your practice is so focused upon by many different teachers, like for example, if you wanted to take a style but it says you're required to have taken Reiki 1 in another modality, because there are some Reiki practices that require that you've been certified previously either by another teacher or by a master, to become a master yourself, then you'll find that you're going to need paperwork for it. You're going to need a certificate that says you've completed that coursework. Now, most of the time when you take Reiki 1, Reiki 2, and Reiki 3, which most schools, I'm going to use the word school for a particular method, like Reiki Usui Ryoho or the Reiki I practice, which is Reiki Usui Seishun, has only got 3 levels. Once you're certified in that level, you are certified in that level, and that's it. You've been attuned, but you have to be attuned from master to student. So you have to have a teacher attune you to Reiki in order for you to be able to practice. You cannot practice without having been attuned by another person who practices Reiki, and they have to have been a master. Level 1 cannot attune level 1. A level 3 can attune level 1 and level 2 and other masters as well. So it's really, really important that you understand that. You have to take the course. Course prices vary between, I've seen them as little as $50 to the thousands of dollars. Depending on how specialized the course is, depending on the method, depending on the teacher. Prices are set by the teacher. There's no one strict price range or no one strict calculation. There's not like, there are Reiki societies, but there isn't a group that governs pricing per teacher necessarily speaking, unless they're a part of that group. Solitary Reiki practitioners are the ones that decide how much it costs. Most courses are either day-long courses, between 6 and 8 hours, or over a weekend, such as a retreat. So it can be like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday experiences. And so it does take quite some time, and most classes should be within at least, if not multiple days, several hours. You should be experiencing hands-on practice with a master present. You should be experiencing all the information, the history, the knowledge, the tools, so that you can get the best feel for Reiki. Sometimes attunements don't take, unfortunately, the first time. That's not necessarily very common, but it does happen. At times, there's multiple different reasons why attunements don't take, but that doesn't mean you should get discouraged. Go ahead and try again. Get attuned. You should feel a difference, sometimes a very subtle shift, and sometimes the experiences are very powerful and they differ per person when they get an attunement. Reiki is a channeled healing method, which is from the crown down through our energy system out of our hands. It is not utilizing our own energy, it is utilizing the energy of source, and it's utilizing the Reiki energy, which is considered creation energy as well. So when you are using Reiki, you're not going to be utilizing your own energy. If you are experiencing your energy being depleted, if you're experiencing your energy being pulled at, drained, if you're feeling worse after you're using Reiki and you're doing a Reiki energy, if you're practicing it on someone else and you have these fallout type of effects, then either A, you did not receive your attunement and it didn't click into place completely, or if it didn't click into place, another thing is that you're trying to utilize your own intention too strongly, and it's taking over the channeled method of the healing with the Reiki. So it's really important when we're going into a healing session that we're pretty clear of intention, that we're allowing spirit to guide us, and that we're allowing that to take precedence over our own intention. There's going to be times where we feel something that we need to do intuitively or instinctually, and Reiki can increase that intuitive ability as well, actually. But with when you're when you're doing a healing on another individual and you're getting that pulling out effect, that's your empathy that is utilizing your own personal energy, and that is something that you don't want to see take place. So you're going to want to stop doing Reiki until you realize what's going on. Now, with attunements as well, since we're on the subject of attunements, normally attunements are a 21-day process. In the process of receiving attunement, we're actually, as masters, assisting in neutralizing karma to help create a clearer channel for the person receiving the attunement, which is one of our students. So the 21-day process is kind of a cleansing process, and during that 21-day process, it's generally suggested limited alcohol to no alcohol. I prefer no alcohol, period, whatsoever. Drinking plenty of water and eating healthy can also have an emotional detox effect where emotions that we're holding on to attempt to be released during a Reiki attunement. And sometimes an attunement won't click into place because there are emotions that we're not ready to release, or that we're feeling very, very stressed, we're not ready to let go of. That can happen. That happened to me the first time I got my attunement. The second attunement took magically, wonderfully. It was such an incredibly different experience. And with my first attunement, it just didn't feel complete. It felt like I was halfway plugged in. I don't know how else to explain it. I always say it's like a light that was only halfway plugged into the socket, but the light bulb was still on, but it was dim. And when I got attuned the first time for the first degree, the second time, it felt like the light got fully plugged in and that the light bulb was shining very, very vibrantly and very, very bright. I had the attunement purge in all of my attunements, actually, for all 4 times I've been attuned. I've had the experience of the 21-day purge. Most of the time it was anger, some of it was sadness, some of it was just stress. With my master attunement, I felt very empowered at first. I felt very, I felt a lot of confidence. I felt like I could take on the world. And that was a very short-lived effect, and I wasn't used to feeling that way. So that was a unique experience for sure. I just felt completely invincible. It was a little weird, but it was kind of cool. And I would say since I got my attunements, I've cleansed a lot of karma, and there was a lot of karmic purging I've done. I've done a lot of shadow work. I'll make another video on shadow work and what that is. But that's basically dealing with baggage, is a long story short, but I would like to go through more in effect what shadow work is, and I think I'll include that into a soul fragment retrieval video as well. Now, for what you can expect in the first, second, and third degrees, in the first degree, most of the time you're just taught hand positions, or you're taught the channeled healing method, and you may be taught one symbol or you may not be. In my branch of school for Reiki Seisham, I learned symbols the first class, and I actually prefer that teaching style, and that is the way that I teach, is with symbols in the first class, because I feel like it's a lot more conducive to my teaching style. But that's my style, and not all teachers are going to agree with me, because everyone's got their own opinion on how it should be taught, and everyone does teach very, very differently. So that's something to also be aware of when you're learning, or you're taking a class, that all teachers are different, class sizes are different, what you will be taught, and the content of each course will vary. And that's not to say necessarily that any style is right or wrong per se in their teaching method, but it is just to bring awareness to you as somebody who's looking into Reiki and what it is and what it does. And mostly we've been going through what it is right now. So when you're looking at these courses and you're looking at the content of these various classes and what to expect, some teachers are very regimented, very organized, and some teachers are very free-flowing and very verbal. It's always good to take a pen and paper and lunch with you when you go to a Reiki class, and I always recommend dress comfortably, because after an attunement and when you do Reiki, hot flashes are pretty normal. It's really, really normal to have physical effects like that in Reiki, like hot flashes, colds, vibrations, tingling, goosebumps, and sometimes you may not feel anything at all. You may feel magnet-like sensations. Those are all normal when practicing or giving Reiki. I digress. Reiki 2 does tend to be further information, additional tools to help you in most classes. Most schools offer the symbols on level 2, and then level 3 of course is the formulas for the attunement process and others, where you receive your master symbols and additional formulas or information on Reiki. So that's something good to know about the attunements, just to kind of give some information. This is all stuff you can find in books and online anyway, but I figured I'd go ahead and tell you. Some Reiki masters are very, very quiet about symbols and what they do, and I'm a lot more open because people who are not attuned cannot use the symbols anyway. They cannot utilize the energy of the symbols or anything of that nature. So the symbols have to be empowered through the Reiki energy as well. So it's kind of a two-step process. It's the energy which we channel and the symbols that we use that have specific focused intentions that we use on the chakra system, that will allow us to create an effect through the energy healing process. Now, Reiki does affect us multi-level. It affects many of our different astral bodies. It affects our mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. It does intend to increase wellness as well. It affects our electromagnetic system and the aura. Again, our energy system, our chakra system, and our physical body. So it's really common when receiving Reiki to feel some kind of after effect. It may take up to 3 days to experience an after effect. And again, some people may just feel just a simple piece, like a simple piece or a lightening of energy, or more of a relaxed type energy as well. So that's the things you can expect from Reiki when receiving it. Now, when giving it, as I said before, you should actually feel better after you do a Reiki session. I always feel happier. I feel more centered. I feel more balanced. I feel more clear when I am actually giving Reiki. It's not as strong as when I receive it from someone else, but when I do it, I actually do feel better. It's not exhausting, it's not draining, it's not tiring, which is really great. I used to do energy healing prior to doing Reiki, and I did energy healing through white light intention, and through my own energy, and that was not good for me. It was no bueno. I did not feel very good, and it actually ended up making me sick. So that's something to also be aware of when using your own energy. Energy can get stuck in your own personal energy system when doing energy healing if you are not formally trained. Anyone can do energy healing outside of Reiki, and again, there's many different modalities, and I'll actually make a video about the different kind of healing methods outside of Reiki. I'll actually include several different styles, so if you're curious on that and you're curious about things outside of Reiki, I'm more than happy to include that and some brief information on each style that I am aware of. And of course, there's going to be way more than what I include. There's going to be things that I haven't heard of before, because that's the beautiful thing about energy healing, is it's ever growing, very fluid, and we have people that are constantly bringing to the table. So that's really, I think, very, very lovely. Another thing I like to touch on in Reiki is some of the classes are very, very, very expensive. That's not always necessary. If you feel drawn to it intuitively, you feel like that's something you should do regardless of the price, and there's something that you feel like you need to be with this person and do this style regardless of how much it costs, that's wonderful, that's great. Please follow your intuition. If it feels right, then it probably is right. Please do it. I am always going to be an advocate that says listen to your intuition first and foremost over what any teacher says. Always question what you're being told. Always do your own research. Always do your own learning. Reading is a great thing, and get feedback from other people. Ask questions is primarily the most important thing to me. Now, that also being said, yes, some courses are very, very expensive. Please know that there are classes out there for people who want to do it but maybe be struggling a little bit. There are classes that are highly affordable. One of the frequently asked questions I get is online courses. I, as my own preference, will not ever do an online class. It doesn't make sense to me. I know that distant attunements are possible. They are. They are very, very possible, and they are very, very legitimate. But I feel like something is missed unless you're doing a Skype session one-on-one, or you're doing a Skype session with a group. I feel like something's missed. I was introduced to a couple different people who did online courses, and it was pre-recorded videos. And the pre-recorded videos basically did a small introduction, then sent them a packet with all the information, and the information was legitimate. The information was real. I reviewed the information that they were sent, and I saw that it was accurate. The information that they received was accurate, but all they had to do was read the packet. There was no way to verify that they had actually read the packet, and then they would hit a button that said, I read the packet, and then they would watch a video that was pre-recorded for an attunement. I have very, very mixed feelings, leaning more towards not very positive about that. It's possible, but please remember you also get what you pay for in education. Sometimes cheaper is not always better. It was a $20 course, and she got $20 worth of education for Reiki. And it was for level 1, 2, and 3. And I find it sad that such a beautiful method has become so highly commercialized. It's very popular. There are a lot of people that are Reiki masters nowadays. That's very, very true. But I'm also saying be aware that there are things out there that are just trying to profit off the hype, and that does not mean that you're getting what you're looking for. If you're very, very serious about your education, which I please encourage you to do this. If you are not serious about your education, if you want to just see what it's like, do one and stop there. Don't go for something that is easy breezy, lemon squeezy, because Reiki is not something that is one and done type style. There is one class to receive your attunement, but there's always going to be more to learn, more to experience, especially through your own personal experience, especially if you're looking at doing this professionally. That one-on-one experience cannot replace, first and foremost, whether again it's Skype, which I'm still kind of like this, but I know that it's possible. You can do distant attunement and you can still have a quality education one-on-one, but you should be able to ask questions. You should be able to interact with your teacher, and you should be able to get feedback, and it shouldn't be through an email. You should be able to be in connection with your teacher. I have a very blessed teacher that I was calling up years after my first and second attunement, asking, I thought I really got this part of what I learned, but I'm understanding that there was actually more to it than what I thought that there was. And can you please explain this to me? Can you please explain that to me? And bless this man, he entertained all my questions for years and years and years and years and years, and for free. How can I ask for a better teacher? I can't ask for a better teacher. I look up to my teacher with a lot of respect because he put his heart and soul into his passion, and he was very serious about his students. And I cannot at all say how grateful I am for that experience. And we should be able to have this connection with our teachers that allow a continuity in our community. And I feel like that's very greatly important. If a student comes and they're very passionate at first and then they move on and they grow on their own, then that's fine and that's wonderful and that's okay. But then you have teachers that should also be available to you. I just feel like that's really important. I do feel like, a lot of the times you're going to get your information at first, but you're going to have questions. You're going to want to know more. And really, how much can you really truly understand on your own just by reading the packet yourself? There are people that can do that, but that's not true of everyone because everyone learns different. So that's why I'm saying be wary of online courses, especially those courses that are too good to be true. It probably is. Oh my gosh, Reiki Master for $20. You probably want to be very careful with that. Again, if you're serious about your education, you're going to put into your education and put into the time, and you're going to make it a priority, and you're going to make sure that your education is quality, because this is an education. Don't misunderstand. Reiki is an education, and Reiki is also a commitment to a certain kind of lifestyle of being of service when you're choosing to do this professionally. At least that's what I hope to see, is the integrity in which that Reiki is done, because as healers, we're committing ourselves to being of service to others to the best of our ability. And sometimes it's very easy to get overtired or overstressed, and that means that we need to take care of ourselves. But we shouldn't lose sight of being of service. That's first and foremost in all things we're doing in our business profession. So that's Reiki. I hope I kind of covered everything. I feel pretty good about that. I know that I really nutshelled the history, but I wanted to give you more of an idea of Reiki and what it is. Again, it's an energy healing method. It's a natural holistic healing method. It works with the aura, the energy system, the chakra system, and the meridian system as well. And it has a lot of its foundings heavily based in Buddhism because it is from Japan. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you have any further questions about Reiki or what it is, feel free to leave a comment down below. I will respond to you best that I can. I'll try to keep up with it, especially as long as there's not way more than I can keep track of. If I do get a lot of questions that are along the same line, I will go ahead and make a frequently asked question video concerning Reiki as a response video. So thank you so much. I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye for now.